Latecia Bush, the now former Miss World Cayman Islands 2024, speaks out on a popular talk show where she shared the circumstances that led up to her dethronement. Stick around because we're going to break down Latecia's interview, the committee's response, and key takeaways for pageant fans and future contestants. Hey pageant fans, welcome back to another episode of T-Stance on Pageantry, where we talk all things pageant related. I'm your host, Teresa. If you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. And if you're new here, thanks for joining us. If you've been following this story, you know that Latecia Bush was recently replaced by the second runner-up, Dethronement, and Dethronement will now serve as the representative for the Cayman Islands at the 72nd Miss World Festival in India. During the interview, Latecia did speak about 4 warning letters that she received from the committee, the last 3 of which came in 3 separate emails, all sent within 30 minutes of each other. The emails came just days before her dethronement. She categorized the issues as minor infractions and not gross misconduct that would justify an immediate termination. Now, if you did watch my previous video, you would have heard me say that normally an organizations would have protocols or steps in place that they would take before they consider dethronement. Now, what were these infractions? Let's get into it. The first warning letter she received in late 2024, and she said it was in regards to a photo shoot that took place at Cayman Bay. Well, now, Latecia claims that it was not actually a photo shoot and that she was just hanging out with friends at Cayman Bay and a photographer offered to take her photo. Latecia then published the photo on her social media account. The committee saw the photo and they classified it as a photo shoot and issued a warning. Latecia says that it was not planned and it was not a paid photo shoot. The second warning letter she received was in relation to a talent performance withdrawal, where she initially wanted to do a talent. However, the committee did not approve her doing this talent until January. She did complete 4 dance sessions with her choreographer. However, since they learned the date of Miss World would be in May, Latecia and her choreographer decided that it would not be enough time to work on the dance. She says that she communicated to her committee rep or her manager and proposed an alternative route by doing maybe a more familiar dance. However, her choreographer at the time said that she did not have much availability to continue working with Latecia. However, despite the fact that she did inform her committee rep, she was still given a warning for canceling or withdrawing from the talent competition. Now, the third letter, she says, is in relation to being rude in a voice note. She says that she was not rude and that, in fact, she was simply asking for clarity on details surrounding her beauty with a purpose, and she requested that clarity to be confirmed in writing. And she says someone was offended by the voice note and a warning was issued. Now, the last warning letter, she says, was for missing a call or a meeting, and she really did not give much details on this, but she said it did result in another warning. Now, in speaking about the termination process, Latecia says after receiving the last 3 letters, the committee requested a meeting in which she was given notice, and Latecia was asked to resign and return the crown and items, which she complied with. She later requested a meeting for clarification or resolution, but received no response, leaving her with no opportunity for open dialogue. She felt disheartened and felt that there was no attempt at a resolution before the decision was made. Now, Latecia did talk about the pressures that come with being a pageant title holder, and she expressed that although she loves pageants and considers herself to be a veteran and believes in women's empowerment, she criticized the lack of transparency and called for more professionalism within the pageant system. She discussed styling pressures, including being encouraged to straighten her hair and paying $300 for extensions. She noted the damaging physical toll of participating in pageants because of the expectation to wear high heels and work out at the gym. Now, in response to her dethronement, she did launch a hashtag #IStandWithBinky, calling out unrealistic beauty standards and invited persons who have been told that they are not naturally beautiful to utilize the hashtag. She openly discussed weight management pressure, where she says that she lost 30 pounds in 2 months, but still was told to lose more. She believes that such expectations should be clearly stated up front from the committee. and she advocated for clearer requirements for future contestants. Now, the host of the talk show did point out that if the pageant has specific standards, they should mention these up front. And she went on to say, if someone doesn't meet that standard, then don't let them in the pageant. Now, one of the things I did like about this interview is that we actually got to hear from the other side, and we heard specifically from the director, Pamela Ebanks-Small, and this is what she had to say. She came on the call and immediately denied calling anyone fat, because previously in the interview, it was alleged from former contestants and even former title holders that they were body shamed. So Pamela Ebanks-Small said that she never called anyone fat, but admitted that they do have international standards that they need to meet. In regards to laying out clearer requirements, she said they want to be more inclusive, allowing women to gain the experience even if they don't meet all the criteria. And she says that the reason for this is that they hope that by giving these women the opportunity to experience pageantry, they will come back in the future when they are better prepared. Now, she clarified about the hairstyling issue, and she said that Latecia was encouraged and not forced, and that she specifically told Latecia that she loves her curly hair. Now, as it relates to the warning letters, she did provide a little bit more insight on context as per the committee's perspective. She said that the contract prohibits any public shoots without the committee's approval. She claims that she knew the photographer and that if Latecia had came to the committee and asked for approval, it would have been granted. But evidently that did not happen, and the photos were posted to social media, and the photographer's business page was tagged. So from their perspective, it did look like a photo shoot. Now, as it relates to the second warning letter regarding the talent performance, she claims that Latecia begged to do a talent. The committee made the arrangements with the choreographer and even agreed to an amount to pay the choreographer. She went on to say that Latecia completed 4 sessions and that she was told that the dance was complete and that Latecia would be good to go. She says, however, that Latecia and her choreographer made the decision to pull out of the talent competition, a decision she says should have been made in collaboration with the committee. Now, in regards to the third and fourth warning letters, which were in relation to being rude on a voice note and missing a call or a meeting, we didn't get much detail from Pamela Ebanks-Small, and I believe that was because the questions were not posed to her, so we didn't get much clarity. However, I do want to interject and say that recently a Compass TV news segment did come out in which it was clarified further in regards to that meeting and or call. Now, Pamela did confirm that the meeting that Latecia referred to was actually a training with an international pageant coach from India. And she questioned in that interview, how do we move forward if she's not going to show up to meetings with the trainer? Now, Latecia in that same interview with Compass TV did say that she told the committee she wasn't sure she was going to be able to make it and asked for clarification on what the meetings were about, and says it was not provided, so it came down to a case of miscommunication. Now, after Pamela concluded her interview with the talk show host, they did go back to Latecia for her final thoughts, and she provided a bit more clarity around some of the warning letters, namely the photo shoot, she says, happened spontaneously at an event, and the photographer offered to take her photos, and there was no prior intention. And she says in relation to the talent, the committee did not confirm she could do the talent until January, and says 4 sessions were not enough to lock in choreography. Now, Latecia did say that her instructor did reach out to the committee to update them, but got no reply. Now, the third warning letter, which was a rude voice note, she says the voice note was from January, and she insists it was a request for clarity and not rudeness. In regards to the hairstyling, there just seems to be some conflicting perspectives here, where there seems to be some back and forth between whether she was going to be wearing her hair straight or curly, and it just led to a host of confusion. Now, in her closing statements, Latecia did express her gratitude for all the support that she's received from the community. She also reiterated her hashtag I stand with Binky, and encouraged persons to tag Miss World Cayman to stand against how the situation was handled. She also gave her support to Jada Ramoon, the new title holder, and she shared that she hoped to compete again in future pageants. Now, on that note, I do want to highlight that Latecia did make a post showing her support to the new title holder, Dethronement. And in her caption, she says, "I want to take a moment to shine a light on our incredible new queen, Dethronement. You are not just a beautiful woman, but a force of strength, grace, and power. I love you deeply, and I am beyond proud and excited to see you represent our country on the international stage. You'll do it with such poise and pride, and I know you'll continue to make us proud. I want to be clear, I do not condone any negativity directed towards her. She has been one of my greatest supporters and dearest friends, and I will always stand by her. The post I shared was never about tearing anyone down. It was simply to highlight the flaws in the system that surrounds her. She has no control over the position she's been given, and she's stepping into it with nothing but grace and dedication. If you truly support me, then you must support her as well. Women supporting women isn't just a phrase. It's a way of lifting each other up, empowering each other, and standing together. Let's continue to uplift and celebrate one another." And of course, I love to see the woman empowerment. I'm really glad that Latecia made that statement and clarified that she is not holding anything against Jada and that she wishes her all the best. Now, before I go, I do want to give a little bit of my own insight, my own commentary, because there were some salient points made throughout this interview that I feel very strongly about. And there are things in here that I myself have been advocating for, and that is for clear expectations and pageant standards. And here's the thing, I really feel like Cayman pageant committees must start asking for what they actually want up front. Because this has been a big problem for years, is when you look at their marketing materials, they're not saying what they know they need. You know, if you know you need somebody that has good communication skills, put that out there. If you know you need somebody that is social media savvy, put that out there. If you know you need somebody who knows how to work a runway or has stage presence or at least knows how to walk in heels, then put that out there. If you know you want someone fit, put that out there. All I'm saying is ask for what you want, because honestly, being a title holder is basically being a job. It is all a job interview. And I don't know about you guys, but when was the last time you looked at a job advert and you saw no experience necessary, no skills required, no knowledge of the company, or in this case, the system, and no general understanding of the industry? Never. You would never see that in a job advert. And that is because everyday, regular employers know that they need to ask for what they want. They need to have clear expectations, clear standards, so that they can select the best candidate for the job. Make sense? I hope it does. So I'm encouraging the pageant committees to understand that when it comes to the pageant industry, you guys are at the top of the totem pole. You set the tone, you set the standards, you set the direction, and we will follow based on your lead. But if you're not leading us, we can't follow. Make sense? Comment down below what you guys think about that. However, I will say that I do know the rebuttal to that is going to be, well, if we put too many requirements in place, then we're not going to get a lot of contestants. And while I agree you might not get a lot of contestants, maybe in the first couple of years that you start doing that, eventually people will get the message, and then the up and coming pageant girls who want to compete at this level of pageantry, they're going to see that and they're going to say, these are the expectations. Let me start to get myself prepared. Let me seek out pageant coaching. And that way you'll be getting more trained contestants. And you know what that's going to do? That's going to increase the competitiveness of our pageants. So all in all, I thought this was a pretty well done interview. I do wish that there was more clarity in some points, but we did get that clarity from another media house, Compass TV. So I think we have more of a picture of what sort of took place. And here's the thing about the Cayman Islands is that we are not a big pageant community. We don't really like pageants, so we don't support it as much as we probably should. And it's very unfortunate that people don't see the value in pageantry pageantry. And so when you're working with people who already, they have a negative view of pageantry and they see it through that stereotypical lens that pageants are just superficial, then you really have to go the extra mile to provide a lot of context so that persons can understand the entire thing. Because I did see moments within this interview where there was some misunderstanding about what pageantry entails and what comes with it. And so we have to be very, very careful when we're speaking on these platforms and we're talking to people who don't quite know about the industry. They're not well versed in it. They don't understand pageantry. You have to make sure that you paint them a holistic picture from A to Z. And that's why it's super important to get both sides and sort of just figure out what are the common threads and put the pieces together. But you really do have to paint that picture from A to Z for persons to fully understand. And that way they can make a judgment based on the information they have, and they can make it from an informed place. And that's why I'm here, and that's why I'm providing perspective and insight and context, because I think it's very important so that everyday persons who may not be involved in the pageant industry, they understand and they can keep up. Anyways, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I know it was quite long, but I think it was worth it. Please comment down below your thoughts. I'm very curious to hear what you guys think now that this information has been put out there. I do have another video in mind that I will be posting in the coming days. So stick around. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell and share the video with the pageant girl in your life. And thank you guys so much for tuning in. Until next time, have a beautiful day.